Okay, guys, so I'm somewhat of a Green Bay Packers nerd. I'm a big football fan as far as the Wisconsin Badgers and Green Bay Packers. I'm a diehard fan. I watch every game. Now, when football's not going on between like February and September, I'll watch some MMA, UFC in particular. But other than that, just diehard football fan. Now, every year I see these pundits and experts say give out the mock drafts and they have no freaking clue what they're saying because they don't follow every team closely. They're kind of just NFL analysts. And they have the Packers drafting a wide receiver in the first round, which we never do. We haven't done that in like 20 years. Okay, 15, but still, we don't do that. So I really don't think they're going to do that. It's frustrating because I'm like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Any diehard Packers fan knows we draft like offensive tackles, we draft cornerbacks, safeties, um, quarterback in round one. That's it. We don't draft anything else in round one. So here's my take on what's going to happen. We're using the PFF mock draft simulator. So another thing, the Packers trade up pretty much every year. So every year we trade up into the low to mid 20s. Brian Gutekunst, the GM, has traded up every year he's been the GM. So it was Darnell Savage, Jordan Love. Okay, see, Greg Newsome went there. I wasn't expecting that. So I am actually not going to trade up. We'll sit on this mock because if they're going to trade up, they're going to trade up because Greg Newsome slips into the 20s. If Greg Newsome gets past pick 20, I think they're going to trade up for him. But if that scenario happens where he goes earlier on day one, then I don't think they'll necessarily trade up unless they want to get an offensive tackle. So here we got Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore. I like them both. I really like Elijah Moore. He would fit that slot player we need. He's crazy fast, runs good routes, tough, all that. That would make sense. I wouldn't mind that pick here, but just knowing the Packers, they're not going to do that. So Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately. Walker Little, that's a tackle. The tackle class is very top heavy. So there's tons of good tackles at the top, but then after the first mid-second round, there's not. It tapers off quite a bit. So Walker Little's a possibility. Tevin Jenkins is a possibility. Some people think he's one of the better tackles in the draft. And then Asante Samuel Jr. Those are the three in this position. They're not going to pick Rondale Moore here either. He's got an injury history. So that's another thing with Greg Newsome. They might not get him because he has an injury history. But I think right here, if this is how it plays out on draft day, we will be looking at Zaven Collins. I like him a lot too. Kadarius Toney, I like him a lot, but they're not going to pick any of those guys. They're not picking a linebacker. They're not picking a receiver. So stop getting your hopes up about Elijah Moore or Rashad Bateman. So it's going to be Walker Little, Asante Samuel Jr., or Tevin Jenkins. It's going to be one of these three. This is a tough one right here. This is a tough one. I think if the board fell like this, it wouldn't be as exciting. But I honestly think if the board fell like this, they're going Tevin Jenkins. They're going to take one of the tackles. It could be Walker Little, but I think Tevin Jenkins, that's my guess. He's going to be a plug-and-play right tackle right away. So I'm going to guess that. And second round, we'll speed up this a little bit. Second round is where, in the past, at least with Ted Thompson, we've seen the Packers draft receivers. So the Packers don't have any receivers on the roster after next year. So they could be looking at a receiver right here. Now, this is interesting. Let's say Landon Dickerson is right here. If Landon Dickerson is right here, I don't know. They'd have a hard time passing him up because they lost Corey Linsley in the offseason, and that would fill another need. If they added Tevin Jenkins and Landon Dickerson in this draft right off the first two rounds, that would be tremendous value, and their line would look great. Their line already looks great. Quinn Maynards, they also have been looking at him, so that's a possibility. We do need a corner here. So obviously, I don't even know how to say this guy's name, but I've read he's a good zone corner. Eric Stokes runs a 4.25. This is a tricky situation. If this plays out, I don't think Landon Dickerson's going to fall to us here. I really don't. I don't think he's going to be there. But let's just say, so I want to be realistic here. I don't think he's going to be there. I think they would take like Quinn Maynards. Let's take him. Let's do this realistically. I think Dickerson's better, but I don't think he's going to be there. So moving on one more round here. I'm just doing the first three rounds. We are up at pick 92. I'm not going to pick Jamin Davis because there's no way he's going to be there in round 3. I don't know why this simulator always has him there, but it's not going to happen. So let's rule that out. That's not happening. And let's look at D-line. receivers. Let's do receivers, and let's do D-line, and let's do cornerback. We'll see who's left, because I think those are the biggest needs. We poured everything into the O-line in the first 2 rounds here in this take. So Kelvin Joseph, if he's there, I could very much see them picking him. Thomas Graham Jr. is another one. Now, I've been hearing a lot about Dwayne Eskridge. And then another one that I've been hearing about, Emir Smith-Marset. So I actually watched him play against Wisconsin a little bit. So he's more of the prototypical receiver. I think he runs like a 4.45, whereas Dwayne Eskridge runs a 4.39. So this is difficult because we brought back all of our corners in the offseason. So I don't think we'll necessarily go that route either right here. Let's go with, just to go off of what we've been seeing, let's go with Eskridge. Now, knowing the Packers, they might completely reach on him and pick him in round 2, which I've heard he's kind of moving, trending in that direction up the boards. So let's pick him here. I'm trying to do this a more realistic draft of what the Packers would do. And obviously, PFF doesn't like this draft a ton, but this is what I think realistically, not opposed to what I want to see. Because what I want to see would be completely different. I would have taken Elijah Moore in the first round. But what the Packers do, their tendencies, everything like that, this is about kind of the draft I'd see them taking right here. So we get a tackle because we don't know if Bakhtiari is going to be back, the guy who I almost got in a fight with back in college before he played it all and was amazing now. Quinn Meinerz out of Wisconsin Whitewater. I think Landon Dickerson would have been the better pick, but I don't think he's going to be there. And then Eskridge, we've been hearing connected to Green Bay. That could also be Emir Smith-Marset. So this one as well could be a cornerback in the second round here if we were to take Tevin Jenkins in the first round. So first round, you're looking at Tevin Jenkins, Walker Little, or a corner. It's going to be one of those. Second round, if we take an offensive lineman in the first round, if one of these top centers falls to us, it could be one of those or it could be a receiver. And then if we get a receiver in the second round, we might go D-line in the third. But this is kind of a more accurate idea of what I think will actually happen on April 29th. I'm very excited to see what happens there. So if you guys are Packers fans, this video applies to you. Otherwise, let me know what you think here. But this is my more accurate version of what I think Green Bay will do based on their needs and their tendencies.